If those medium risks don't reward them too many times, Giants could very well come back and get this just because of the way Fnatic plays.
So we're into Champion Select, and let's see what we get picked and banned this time around. The bans coming in. Rise taken away straight away from Extermin. Blitzcrank aimed at N-rated.
So this time Fnatic is targeting Exter. I wonder if they'll also ban... No, Fnatic's not going to ban Caster. And I caught myself before I said it because they would very much rather have Xpeke get through to this. The interesting thing to me, though, is the Blitzcrank ban, because I'd imagine Fnatic is pressure Leona anyway, and those are usually the bans for N-rated.
Exactly, unless you're going to go with Thresh and Leona as the next two bans, it's a difficult one to decide. They've actually banned out Shen there, Fnatic just before that banned out Elise, and they will ban out Kassadin. A reverse prediction.
Oh, okay, so they banned Kassadin because they don't want him to have to play against it. Okay, here we go. They banned Kassadin. He wants to pick Zed, even though it's a hard counter. They've been picking Zed so many times. I wouldn't be surprised if Zed isn't banned if Fnatic first picked it.
Well, let's have a look then. They've got 5 or so seconds to figure out this final ban here. And just a quick note, Babetta actually had some real mouse problems before this one. He's actually playing with a brand new mouse coming into this game, so we'll see if that affects things.
So those delays affecting things, and that was not what I expected. They go for the Nasus. That's very much just a cyanide pick. They abuse movement speed, Fnatic does, more than any other team, so they always bring at least one global and tons of movement speed prediction. They like Nunu as a support. They're one of the few teams that still does that because of the Blood Boil. Jace is also something Soaz likes a bunch. And the Wither, 95% slow. Aside from Thresh, that's like the highest percent slow in the game.
Yeah, exactly. And Thresh is still open. We should mention that here, which Giants may want to take away this round. I mean, there are a lot of things that they'll probably want to pick out here. It looks like we are going to be seeing a Kennen. Of course, that is Jimbone's AD carry of choice. Zyra, on the other hand, we've seen in both the support and the mid lane role for Giants.
Yeah, the last time Giants picked Zyra as well, it was a support, and I like that lane. That is like one of the harassiest supports you can get. She's got 575 range, which will outrange almost every AD carry except for Varus. Is going to make it to that point because then they can match with range, so the trade harass would be very good. And Morden on Kennen is just, not Morden on Kennen, it will be Jim Bones on Kennen. Incredibly potent, and that's what he started the season off of, draw little bans, and he has been playing it lately, so I'm glad they're kind of back to their roots.
Yeah, that Kennen coming in, interesting to see how that one goes down. Varus, of course, has been a massively popular champion recently. Zed is another one in there as well. We've seen how strong Zed is. Honestly, I think he's worth a first ban from any team. Maybe not the blue side. This
is the strangest thing I've been talking about too, is a lot of the champions that are incredibly strong can be countered, right? But the players haven't yet found a counter to Zed. They don't know what beats him in lane yet. They don't see where his weaknesses are in the game. Whether they exist or not is yet to be found out, but that's one of the reasons you kind of either have to ban him or pick him really early, which is why it's so surprising to me, actually, that it might have just been because Exter hasn't played much Zed. Zed is a very technically complex champion to play around, but it allowed Fnatic to pick it third and get the Nasus early.
So let's see what Giants had in there. Of course, that Zyra could be the support. That Zyra could be in the middle lane. We've seen Extermin and Babetta running in previous games here, so what will they go up with? Knowing that this Zed is going to be in the middle against them, most likely. I mean, could end up with Soaz in the top, but I just expect from how things have gone that that's Peke.
Yeah, and here's the thing about these picks. They want to pick a counter in probably the mid lane for what Peke is, but I've been talking to them, like I haven't actually talked to too many mid lane players aside from Ocelot. I'm like, all right, what's the counter pick to Zed? And they're like, that's a really hard one. I don't know what counter Zed. You have to ask Froggen. And I'm like, I don't know yet. So I couldn't predict these picks, and it looks like they went Kha'Zix Jarvan. That could probably be Jarvan jungle and probably Kha'Zix mid, but honestly, we've seen a lot of Kha'Zix in both of these positions.
Yeah, we certainly have. Fnatic, they obviously have their AD carry, what we think will be the mid lane, and the jungler, there's a Karma, which, I don't know, it's Soaz at the end of the day in the top lane. Probably could throw a Karma out.
Yeah, I was actually watching Voyboy's stream, and he played a Karma top. He went 0-10. So, the story was going somewhere, and twist ending.
Get away from Karma.
0-10. I don't think he's going to be going with that Karma. Karma's rework has been announced, so definitely not on this patch. We're on patch 3.03, which is one behind the one that just happened on live. So Taric is really strong. We haven't seen those nerfs yet, and we also haven't seen a Taric. But Fnatic probably won't go for that. Nunu for the move speed.
Which is, Nunu Varus, a lane which they've had and really enjoy. So look at this, Katarina coming in.
This is interesting. So this would mean that Soaz is probably playing Zed because Peke is legendary for his Katarina. A lot of teams used to like banning Katarina out in these situations, so this is just the assassin-y comp from Fnatic taken to the extreme already.
So it's looking like if this Sona pick stays here as well for Giants, and it will be locked in there. So it's going to be a Zyra mid lane.
So they might have done this because of the potential dive Fnatic has. Like, Zyra is one of the hardest things to dive in on, but I worry about Fnatic's ability to like blink through the Zyra stuff and still get to them. I look at Giants lineup and I see pretty strong laning, especially the Sona Kennen. The Fnatic's gonna have to get by, but I don't necessarily see too much hard engage to go on them. Like, they have Jarvan, and no, I'm talking myself into a corner. They have a lot of hard engage. That's what they're going to be going for.
So we talked about Fnatic's real like for global abilities in there, the Shens, the Twisted Fates to move around the map. If you can't get those global champions, the next best thing is going to be teleports. And right now, Peke and Soaz are both sat on a teleport. Of course, we still have a little bit of time. That could still change.
We've talked about Fnatic's playstyle so much this weekend already, and that's exactly what we're going to see. It's the global playstyle. I'm going to wait another second to get the confirmation on the double teleports here, and it is in. So Soaz and XPK both, no, only one. Only XPK's teleport.
Yeah.
Summoner spell. Quickness on us, but I think that's enough for them. Peke is the playmaker. Soaz is the one who combos with him occasionally. That's going to be awesome for them.
Now we see the fans here in the Zenith Arena. They've just not lost any energy. In fact, I think they've gained it as the week's gone on here. Or the weekend, I should say, has gone on here in Lille. So hopefully we're going to see another cracking game here. Giants, again, we talked about their situation being coming into this weekend tied for 6th and 7th. It's only got worse for them as things have gone on now. I mean, their game against Evil Geniuses, they only had one ban because they turned up late today, about an hour and a half late. They had a ban, had a punishment of having 2 bans taken away from them. This time they've had them back, of course, but if it's going to get any easier, we're going to find out, but I'm honestly not sure. Fnatic are in form.
Yeah, and Fnatic's not the team you want to play if you're looking for an easy matchup, that's for sure. They seemingly are able to pull off their strategy against everyone. Giants does look like they have a pretty good handle on what Fnatic's doing there. I mean, I still look at that composition, tons and tons of hard engage. I just wonder if they're going to be strong enough in lanes and if they're going to communicate well enough. The nice thing about them is that communication barrier, since they are all Spanish speaking, that they could at least get that through.
So here we go then, Fnatic versus Giants, our penultimate game of the day. Of course, a little bit later on we will have another game coming up. That'll be this game 7, as we are going to see Sounds here actually caught out inside of the jungle. He is going to flash away. Yellow Star doing a lot of damage to him. And well, Samux burning his flash right from the get-go. That's surely Cyanide rubbing his hands together. That's
Fnatic just getting in the right places immediately from 1 minute. There's the pressure. They beat him to the spot. So Samux wanted to go scout out, do that defensive early level 1 opening, and he just ran straight into a Nunu. Nunu iceballed him, made him burn his flash straight away, and now Fnatic has the 2 deep wards. They're going to be able to track where Morden starts in the jungle, but Giants is not going to be able to track where Cyanide is.
Yeah, that's the perfect start that they were looking for here. Fnatic still all 5 men down on the bottom side of the map. It looks like Soaz will go head-to-head with Kha'Zix in this top lane, unless they have any last-second change-ups here. In terms of the jungle starts, we did see that Jarvan on the top side there by the race. Cyanide will be doing exactly the same on the other side, and as I say, it will be Soaz versus Samux in that top lane. It's looking like I have it wrong because the bottom lane, the support AD carry of Fnatic, are going top side.
Yeah, so there was a lot of early game swapping around here for Fnatic. The fact that it's 2 minutes and they still haven't shown any of their lanes definitely means they have that delayed entrance, but yeah, absolute 2v1, but it's the reverse 2v1 like we saw a little bit earlier. Neither of them have access to the double golems. They almost mind-gamed each other into this situation. I'd have to say that it was Giants who wanted the 2v2, which is why they would have went into the kind of bad 2v2 lane, which is the one without the double golems, and Fnatic mind-gamed it just right, going top.
So talk us through these 2v1s. We've already mentioned Kha'Zix once already today, I think, in terms of his 2v1 potential, but talk us through Zed.
Zed is the one, when I was talking with Wicked, that he loves the most for 2v1s, and it's all about trying to find these weaknesses for Zed. Right now, Soaz will be able to clear the wave pretty well at turret. When he hits 6, he can go aggressive, and his wave clear / safety in a 2v1 is almost unmatched right now, so it's a great thing for Fnatic to have that 1v2 change. And you look at the other side, right, and it's just the matter of Kha'Zix in the other top lane. He's not that good of a 1v2. He can't clear the waves as he does walk through the ward.
So Cyanide is up there. What's Samek's going to do? He's still level 1 here. I mean, got that 1 CS going. Let's see how this one all works out. Morden actually starting to work his way up there as well. So Cyanide, you know, they've spotted his position. Morden probably just going to wait off towards the side here. Actually will be spotted there by Cyanide. They've pinged it.
Cyanide doesn't know that he's walked through a ward, but they do know that there's a double stack there. Some teams do brute force a 3v2 tower dive, but that's normally when they have a lot of armor stackers in Taric or Jarvan to soak tower hits or Leona. Fnatic doesn't have that right now, and Cyanide's just content actually stealing the double golems while Morden sits at the turret waiting.
Nice little pick up there by Fnatic. Even with the fact that they're not going to get this gank down, actually Cyanide's still waiting inside of this brush there. Is the Wither going down? Spirit Fire goes down, but in the end, Morden just backs away, but still, he's going to be scared now of going south into his jungle.
And this is kind of a bad situation, though. They're not getting any pressure on that turret up top, whereas Giants is relentlessly pushing this bottom. So even though the 1v2 for Soaz is much better, the Sona Cannon right now is applying superior pressure onto the turret because they had no jungle support for Soaz to help the turret stay alive.
Well, Soaz has gone back down there. We saw that Morden is also moving down towards his own race, but Giants may take the turret here 4 minutes 20 into the game, and it will be that bottom turret falling, and now Cyanide is again up in this top lane, but I've got a bit of a deja vu going on here, Jet.
Morden knows that he's there to guard, and especially since they saw Cyanide there again, this bottom lane can continue to push. Look how low they got Soaz in the bottom lane. Unfortunately, though, Jims took a bunch of damage. That might stop that push.
Yeah, there is a ward in the tri-bush, which Peke could teleport into if he's been very ballsy for that one, but looks like he's more content to stay safe. Fnatic going to finally be putting some pressure down now onto this top turret, but it's going to be a minute or so at least before that one goes down here. With those waves coming in, Jarvan is still on the top side as Peke will jump in there on towards Extermin. And what do you think to this middle lane here? I mean, Zyra versus Katarina, who's going to have the upper hand here in the lane phase?
This is one of those kind of skill matchups that Ocelot was talking about earlier, where it's really just about juking your skill shots and using them at the right time. So if Exter extends too many of his spells and Peke jumps by them, Exter's going to be in a lot of trouble. But if Peke jumps into a route, he's going to be in big trouble.
That turret's still being hammered away on here by Yellow Star in the top. He's actually got a couple of minions in there, will take it down. 5.5 minutes in, that's the second turret of the game. So has even piled a bit of pressure onto this bottom lane now.
And that was a really good race by Fnatic to make sure they got that turret down. You can tell Giants wanted to keep the one turret advantage, and that's why they swapped their support and AD carry up top immediately. Peke actually did a bunch of damage on Expert, but that's just going to be a trade back and forth.
Yeah, using the ultimate in there as well. We saw the flash away from Extermin. Probably would have died there in the end if he had not gone for that option. So good decision by him, but it is going to mean that he starts to fall a little bit behind in the CS compared to Peke. Morden is the one that's going to be trying to soak all that up so that it's not lost to the tower. As Jimbones and Rebetta now coming towards his top side, but Fnatic have that AD carry support there.
And this is the lane that Giants wanted at the start of the game. They wanted the 2v2 lane. They are also an item up right now. Jims has a Vampire Scepter, and Yellowstar has not been back to shop yet, so they want the pressure here. But Fnatic knows there's the teleport coming in from behind.
Oh, this could be very, very dangerous. What are they going to do with it? Babetta going to get exhausted. He's going to be the one that gets focused. They're waiting for the flash over the wall. This is perfect play coming out of the XPK and crew, and there is first blood for Varus.
They knew exactly the moment that Giants wanted to capitalize on that 2v2, and they punished it. Now, Giants is trying to push down onto the mid lane, but I don't think they have enough minions, and there are 2 Fnatic members coming down. If they want to, I think they can fight this.
This could be dangerous. I see XPK just going to shumpo into the back line there of his own minions, just to make sure that he's behind them, or in front of them, I guess, from the Fnatic point of view, really. And that will leave us at 1-1 in turrets, 10.1 to 8.8 thousand gold at this stage. So Fnatic starting to work it out nicely.
And we're already seeing the Fnatic split push pressure coming through here. Look where Soaz just was down at the bottom of the map. He was pushing up without a turret and without wards, but because he knew where he was on the map, he felt safe. Everyone on Fnatic has a very good sense of where people are, even if they haven't warded heavily.
Soaz being caught out finally. Morden spotting his position. There are couple of wards down from either side on this bottom part of the map. If we look at the CS there as well, because he's had that time alone there, 52 to 31 currently over Kha'Zix. The middle lane has actually become a lot more even. It's Fnatic look to steal away the red buff.
Yeah, and the only reason I think that mid lane got a little closer is because XPeke roamed up to the top lane and gave Extra a bunch of free farm. But the fact that Fnatic was able to take that red buff was a lot of the preemptive wards they've already put in the jungle, and this is a lot of people going up for Sona again. They still have their flashes available though. Let's see if they can get them.
Oh, Varus ulti comes in here. Babetta gonna be in all kinds of trouble. He does have, oh no, he doesn't have the flash. He'd already used that just previously, and they're gonna keep tracks on him here. There goes the snowball. This is another one for Yellow Star.
And Kennen is also going down.
Oh, they've got in there at the backside as well. Peke coming right up through the enemy jungle, and the coordination from Fnatic, you just see it there, is sublime.
This one is kicking off a lot faster than their game against Dragonborn. So again, Extra trying to get the pressure down onto the mid turret, but Fnatic has now roamed top twice, and if they can't get the mid turret out of this, it's a failure. I wonder if Peke can get there in time.
Well, we see Fnatic here going to put down the pressure on this upper inner turret as Peke actually dives in there. He's just about kept the turret alive as well, so good job from Peke, but can he stand the pressure that they're going to bring in here? The duo lane is going to be coming back with Kennen and Sona. Sona not level 6 yet, so no crescendo to throw their way, but that should be coming up here shortly. Giant's reply is that middle outer turret.
And usually Fnatic is the ones who are up in towers. This game is a little different for them. Despite having the global pressure, they are going for the gank kills up top and really trying to keep Jims and Babetta down. But because of that, they've lost a bit of turret pressure, so they have to be very careful to make things happen right.
Oh wow, Soa's actually going here on towards Samux, and Samux actually managing to come out nicely. If that one didn't use his flash, put the ignite down, and may look to head him off. Soa's coming back into that lane, trying to get as many ticks as he can of those health pots to get him back up towards the health totals that we saw there for Samux. But if we look down the items, we have seen a couple of things being bought up here. The BF Sword, Vamp Scepter. Oh, that was close. Void Spike's almost hitting Soa's. Actually, he's gonna stay for this one. Is he gonna go in on towards him? Yes, he is, but not going in there fully. Obviously, did use his ultimate in that last encounter.
Right, and we were talking about the items real quick. I mean, the Hextech Revolver on XPeke is really for early sustain. You don't see many Katarinas getting that anymore. I'm not sure what his full logic is, and what XPeke just did in mid lane is something you kind of have to do normally against Fnatic. He warded for the dead turret, so it's essentially like they still have the vision of a turret and they don't want to get outplayed because they're down turrets. So now all of that looks like Giants though. 4 to 5 members in Dragon. Oftentimes Fnatic will trade objectives for turrets, and now they're pushing mid.
Fnatic pushing through that middle. The Dragon has been taken here by Giants. Can they turn this one around? Babetta now is at level 6, so they do have that crescendo if they need it. There's the hail of arrows being thrown out just to slow that Giants assault, and Giants have managed to cover their tower. It's lost half of its HP, but crucially it stays alive, and they pick up the Dragon. That brings them back here, not quite leveling gold, but they're pushing at 600.
Yeah, Giants is doing their best to stay in this game without actually fighting, which is normally what we've been saying all weekend about Fnatic. So they've gotten the Dragons, they're up 1 turret. They successfully got the Dragon without giving up a turret, which is a very tall task to do against Fnatic. Looking at Soaz with that Bilgewater Cutlass, he's been going in all in on Samux quite a few times here. I think he's going to reach a point where he can blow him up because Samux doesn't have any health aside from that Elixir of Fortitude. He would be very vulnerable on Kha'Zix here to the Zed pressure. And because Jims is splitting up top, Fnatic also has extra men middle.
Yep, and as we said in that last push by just after the Dragon, that Fnatic have got that turret down to half HP. Yellow Star avoiding the roots in there, and they've got 4 men, so this is going to be a turret down here for Fnatic. Will they go any further? XPeke was edging forward as though he was ready to dive in there and get the ultimate running, but in the end backs away from it. Soaz is still putting pressure on this bottom lane, and Fnatic doing textbook move here are going to rotate around to it.
All of the rotations for Fnatic, and this would almost be like a perfect time for the Dragon to be up. So it's actually really good that Giants got it when they did, because once they lost that mid turret, they've lost their presence right now, and they are going to be on the run again. Turret number 3, the right rotation. Giants was not ready for that, Joe.
Oh, and Xervin's in trouble here. Actually, Peke will go in. What a flash away. Avoids the Zyra knockup and the crescendo. And I don't think he would have died after that either, but to be honest, he's forced 2 vital ultimates that could, you know, be bad news for Giants if they end up getting into a fight coming forward.
Yeah, and that is just Peke being the playmaker. He has so much confidence in these situations. And again, look at this. He had one ward in the upper jungle where the blue buff would be for Giants, and he was freely hitting the turret because he remembered where everyone else on Giants had been previously. He knew that they had 3 people that were just bottom lane. He knew he'd gotten extra low and extra wasn't running back yet, and he knew there was no crescendo threat from Babetta. So it's just like all of the things that he is calculating live, updating in his head is almost next level.
He's got that gunblade finished in there as well. 106 CS with a 101 kills deaths assist ratio. We can see there the goal 4.3 to 4.1. That's been at a disadvantage in the CS, and also that dragon that we saw taken by Giants earlier on. In terms of the AD carries, it's another dream start for Yellow Star. I mean, he's 2 for 0 up. He is almost level there in the CS as well, but it equates to around about 300 gold. If we look through the items here that both these AD carries have got, the Bloodthirster is already done there for Varus. And getting your Bloodthirster that much earlier than the other AD carry, even once you get matched, is still a big edge because you get to stack it up. Jims has no idea Fnatic is in here until now. I think he noticed. Here comes Giants to suppress. I think they pulled that red buff out and he started running across to the side there. Jarvan actually going to smite that one away, and Rayton might get caught out here. He's going to flash, and Morden decides not to jump in on top of him. Here is Peke down at the bottom. Samek's going to be trying to hunt him down. He ends up getting slowed. Peke goes over the other side. Is he going to go in for more here? Samek's is not going to push his luck, and that's what you got to be careful of with that gunblade, to be honest. Yeah, Peke almost juked so hard there that he decided to go back in. It's like, I completely faked him out. Wait a minute, I do not want to run back. I'm gonna run away from this one. So good escape there. And I do want to talk about that red buff thing one more. That's because jungle minion's now leashed to the nearest thing. He had no vision of that red buff when it got in there, but because it didn't come back to him, he realized someone was closer to the red buff than him, and it was definitely an enemy. So he was like, all right guys, I need some help. Covering it up nicely, but look at Cyanide. He's in on the Wraiths again. Going to take the entire camp out with him. And every little helps in terms of denying those creeps there in that jungle. As Peke continues to push. I mean, he's the one with teleport. We've seen him time and time and time again split pushing here. This is the strategy that Fnatic have found that works for them, and they're going to keep doing it until it doesn't work. Yeah, Peke is top kills in the European LCS. I think he's actually like 3rd in deaths, but he's also top in total gold because you get a lot of money when you're constantly split pushing lanes, always going where the most minions are, making sure it pushed up. This last game on Zed, he had like close to 500 minion kills, and even though we're only 15 minutes in, if this game stretches, he's on pace to get a bunch with Katarina as well because he always plays good lane shovers. There is blue buff given over on towards Cyanide. Obviously, it would be nice to have that in on Katarina, but definitely not a must-have. And check this out. Again, an early Oracles on Giants Babetta. So even though this game is still close, about 2,000, Babetta's sunken money into Oracles. He's got a Sight Stone to what N-Rated has is a Sight Stone, a Cloth Armor, and a Philosopher's Stone. And they're over-warding compared to Fnatic. This is something that Crepo touched on in the last game. Like, N-Rated will always have more items than the other support, just because of the way Fnatic plays. Right now, Babetta and Jimbo's actually backing away. They don't have that safety of the tower behind them. Babetta, of course, has already died twice. Can't really afford to die right now because of that Oracle and the money that is invested into that one. Soaz pushes up middle as well. Zyra actually is going to be trying to head home, and Soaz just been a nuisance there, stopping Extermin from getting himself back. Extermin does have that Rod of Ages, by the way, already complete. And Fnatic doesn't have a huge teamfight composition. They got like double assassins. Their front line is really just Cyanide walking into things. So if a teamfight breaks out around the Dragon here, they might not want to engage on that. N-Rated gets caught. Gets caught out. Zyra ultimate going to knock him in the air here. This is going to be a finisher. Actually, Samox leaps in there to take that kill. That will put him at 1-0-0, and that's just in time for the Dragon to come up. The entire team of Giants there, Fnatic, not going to be going for it. Giants had the timer from the last time they killed Dragon, and they decided to use this moment to make the big play. So many times, you do a gank before the Dragon, so you don't have to fight over it. Fnatic had to completely concede. That was a good play by Giants. Surprisingly enough, Peke is pushing the top lane out now.
No!
No minions on the bottom lane for him to push through, so he's just going to go top. Yellow Star and Cyanide are going to be joining him as they do decide to go in on towards Samux. Peke tanking up the turret there a little bit. He will flash away there as Morden comes in. There's another jump around. Morden is still going on this one, doesn't have Cataclysm. Obviously used it earlier on when they took down Enrated, but Jimbo's doing a similar thing for Giants in the bottom.
And Jimbo's is actually getting quite farmed on Kennen here. He's going for an Infinity Edge. Enrated trying to hold him at the bottom, but this is a good thing for Jims. Like, he's going to continue to farm this lane until Fnatic sends more help.
Wow, goes in there for absolute zero and Rated. Gonna get the snowball down, and well, that probably made Jimbo's think that someone else was in hot pursuit there as he goes up into the jungle. And Rated not gonna let him be taking these golems away, and he actually mistimed the consume there, but still got it with the auto attack after.
Yeah, he managed to slap it silly and get rid of that giant golem. 67 gold for that thing. Like, that's a pretty substantial swing. That's 120. That's almost like half of a solo kill. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it was a pretty good golem steal, man.
Nice steal. Jimbo's inside of the bush here. And... Oh, now he's in trouble. Now he's in a lot of trouble as he is going to put his ultimate down. In comes Soaz, who is going to get stunned up here, but can they follow in for it? One more hit needed. In comes Jarvan from the side to get the knockup. Where's Jimbo's going? Soaz splashes in for the kill.
Soaz tracked him with his ultimate on the way in, and somehow Yellowstar also died to Samux in the top lane. So Giants countering these plays, even as incredible as it seemed. Look out, Samux, can you escape?
Oh, there goes the slow, but he is withered here. In comes the Q. Not doing too much damage right now, but with Wither on, he's just going to stick to him here. One more hit. Oh, there we go. Finished off by Cyanide. Nice reply.
There was half a second left on Samux's leap. If he would have lasted a split second longer, he could have been over top of that wall, but it's not, and this game is actually turning out to be pretty close, Joe.
Yeah, Nunu's just taking away the blue buff there for Fnatic. That's more gold for Enrated. He's doing a good job here in the jungle, and I suppose that's the beauty of having the Nunu in there. That, you know, that smite-like spell that he has with the consume can be brilliant at getting in there and stealing out those jungle creeps.
And the biggest thing is, even though XPeke was off doing something else, both of their solo lanes, energy and no resources, if you look at Zed and XPeke, him taking the blue buff is actually really good just for their team in general, even though he's just a regular Nunu support.
A regular lonely supporter. There is Peke, who I was going to say there's a ward right on top of that pink ward there. Crowd going to cheer that one in. Peke not going to be caught hanging around, but look at this. They may try and bait in because Soaz is inside of that brush right now. This could be very, very interesting here.
Fnatic lives in these
going in there, they're going in on towards Pepeta. Not quite got the damage as Jimbones comes across, but here is Katarina. Nice crescendo coming in. Soaz going very low. Finished off by Jimbones. And now the rest of Giants are coming around the side, but Katarina not going to be an easy one to catch up to with that Shumpo. Peke already getting himself away, and I can't see Jarvan catching him here.
That was a great reaction by Giants. They knew that Fnatic loves staying in those brushes. They run people around the map, and then they wait until they get lazy and split push one of those brushes. But Giants knew where they were coming. Samux was already split pushing the other lane, and they turned that around really well.
Samux is possibly going to take this turret here in that middle lane. Just with the Void Spikes getting rid of the minion waves coming in there from the side. Wither is now going to be down. He takes one turret here as he goes. Spirit Fire is down. Are they going to be able to finish off here? Peke coming in from the side. Can he get in? The ultimate is available here for Peke. And there is the Death Lotus coming down, and he is going to get the kill.
Using the Gunblade slow, they abuse movement speed so much. Like, there's no way the Gunblade is the best damage thing for XPeke right now, but it's the best for what his job is. Fnatic's not wanting to teamfight this in the slightest. They don't want to deal with the Cannonball peel, with the crescendos, with the Zyra ultimates. Like, everything Giants has says, we win teamfights. We dump everything down, Kha'Zix gets the resets. Fnatic is about the split push and the speed, and they're doing their best to stay up with this, but Giants, gotta be honest, doing a really good job to keep themselves in this and not fall victim to the split.
Yeah, the Star and Enrated were actually just waited in that top brush there to see if Jimbones would come out and the lure of CS on the end of the hook, as Soaz now is going to go in there towards Babetta. Is that a fight that he really wants to take there, with Extermin able to root him up there? The Crescendo not far away from coming off cooldown as well. In the end, decides probably better not to. He's got that Black Cleaver now finished, working himself up nicely to the Blade of the Ruin King as well.
Yeah, and speaking of more items, you see N-rated, he's only 600 gold ahead of Babetta, but he's got an Aegis of the Legion. That's a 2,000 gold item. He hasn't bought Oracles. He got the Philosopher's Stone earlier than Babetta did. He's already gotten 500 gold generated on it compared to just 133 on the other side, and that is hugely impactful.
And you see the importance of getting that GP10 roll in as early as you can. Speaking of the next objective, Dragon is here in 20 seconds time. Peke can happily push because he has that teleport up and available to him now, should he need to get involved inside of that fight. See Giants doing classic move. Dragon coming up soon, push that middle lane out as far as they can.
They're trying to make sure they're not victim to a backdoor when they're going for the Dragon. They're going to finish off this mid-turret as well, trying to combo their objectives together. Dragon's up, but they do not have anyone off for Xpeke. They will have to send someone, which will actually give Fnatic a chance at the Dragon, most likely. Xpeke is right at home in here.
Yeah, just going to be getting himself back. Jimbones is going to recall. Peke getting all the CS there before he decides to back away. Doesn't want to use that teleport here if he can get away with it. Actually, he is going to use the teleport and go straight down towards the Dragon. I mean, Giants have not been lured, though.
No, but they want this. Giants wants to team fight, and Fnatic might be giving it to him if they can get the initiation. We'll see it right now.
Here we go, Peke diving right into the middle of them. He's going to take a lot of damage. Will he die? Yes, he will. It's Extermin that gets the kill, but are they going to get any back? There is Cataclysm. It's 2 kills coming down for Giants, but in comes Enrated there. He's done a lot of damage, but he will surely fall here in the end. Yes, he will. Yellow Star comes in from the side. They managed to take down another one. Morden is very low. Jimbones might have to get away from this one. Will Lightning rush his way towards mid lane, but Yellow Star's not done. He flashes in, managed to land the hail of arrows. Can he 1 versus 1 Jimbones? He gets stunned up there. They managed to stay alive.
Oh my God!
Cyanide. One last hit gets him the kill, but Sono, with the help of the tower, will double up there. It was an ace before. Crazy stuff.
Babetta, the last man standing with the double buffs. The support's going to get some gold finally from this one. That was absolutely crazy by Fnatic. I did not expect them to go in for a full 5-on-5 fight, but they were so close to winning that one. Giants really got themselves back in this game. That's the team fight threat they wanted. They killed 9 players. The Dragon's still alive. I think they're going to go back.
Yeah, I think so too. The way that they fought out for that one, obviously Dragon being hotly contested here. Babetta going to go home after that double kill and be like, what's that N-rated? You got your GP10 rolling earlier. Well, I'm caught right back up to you with this one. And we'll see what he brings back to the fight. Randuin's Omen will be finishing there for Nasus. Locket with Jarvan. Deathcap now added in for Extermin as well.
Yeah, so the items are much bigger. Extermin's Zyra ultimate needs to come off of cooldown very, very shortly. It's got 15 seconds left, so they should have it by the time this Dragon's up, unless Fnatic rush it very quickly. Xpeke's already at like half health before this fight comes up, so we'll see if it has any play. Fnatic decided the fight last time. I wonder if their mindset has changed at all, because they are very split up around them. Will they flank in, or will they go up this Dragon?
Well, it looks like they're at least going to try and poke it there. In fact, they look like they're going to go for it. Cyanide is right in on top of them. Soaz coming in from the backside. Soaz has to back away. 2 knockups from the Stranglethorns there, but they this time are winning out on it. Samuks goes low. He is finished off. Only Kha'Zix to pick up a kill here for Giants. That was onto Soaz, and they're not done just yet. Yellow Star and Enrated following through. Can they get in on towards Jarvan? I think they're quite happy with the fact that he will get away and they'll be able to push elsewhere.
And look at this, Babetta is dead with his Crescendo, what looks like completely available, but it was on cooldown when that fight started, and Sona was out of position, so the fact that Fnatic went at exactly that moment was so key. They gave up the Dragon, but they didn't care. Giants was rushing to get the Dragon because they didn't want Fnatic there, but they rushed ahead of their support who had to go back to base and buy. That was a huge timing window by Fnatic to make that happen, and now they're just getting turrets as a reward.
Yeah, they're going in for this inhibitor turret, which is going to go down. There's nothing Morden can do, but the rest of Giants now have spawned. Look at Peke. He is still pushing here on this bottom inner turret. Doesn't have TP available, though, so needs to be a little bit wary of his surroundings from that one. Actually, Morden's coming in from the side of this one, as Samuks will jump in onto him. Peke actually dives onto Morden in the end. Can he escape? Nice juke away from the knockup of Jarvan. Gets a speed boost off the W. Slowed after that, but the Shunpo away. You're not catching him.
He is the slipperiest fastest person I have ever seen. He greases up Katarina before every single game just so nobody can catch him. Don't look at me like that, Joe. I like watching Xpeke play.
Oh, flash away from Soaz there. Yeah, grease up Katarina, what can I say? No comment after that. Soaz getting away there, did get hit with the Shuriken coming out of Jimbones. This is going to be a turret back for Giants, but 6-4. But look at the gold lead. I mean, it's still not huge at this stage.
No, it's actually still pretty close. It's because even though Fnatic has gotten the 6 turrets down, which is a huge thing, Giants has countered back with 4. Giants has also gotten 3 dragons, and that's making up for the 5 kill lead. It's making up for the fact a little bit that N-Rated got his goal for 10 first, right? All these things are still all right for Giants. Like, if they can somehow get another type of team fight, which Fnatic actually seems fairly content with giving them, we'll see if that changes now that we got Zed and Katarina on opposite sides of the minimap, just split pushing both sides. Giants is still very much in this one.
Where's the next moves coming in there? Where are those oracles to be cleaning up? We're at 27 minutes in, and there is a pink ward for Peke. I actually thought there was one on top of his head because his health bar was covering that of the ward. Samux is actually going to face check the bush here. There comes the ultimate. He jumps away, half of his health gone, but not going to die at least.
Yeah, so Peke keeping the pressure down, and honestly, Yellowstar, again, with that good start, 5, 2, and 5. He made that one kind of misplay when he overflashed during the one team fight and died to Jimbones, but super, super solid play. Fnatic actually de-warding this jungle there. This is the one kind of outer turret they haven't gotten down yet. It looks like they're trying to keep the pressure up here.
Inner turret going to fall. It's only going to take 3 auto attacks from Yellowstar, but now he might get a little bit caught out, and actually Giants had no vision there behind him, so they decided not to go in. His Morden going to be dumped on here by Soaz from a great height there, half of his health instantly taken away, and you know, he's the tanky one. That's scary.
Yeah, that is not a pleasant sight. Soaz scaling so well into the late game here, and I gotta say, like, Xpeke, it shows you how much he's been split pushing, the fact that he's level 18. No one else in the game is within 2 levels of him. He's always been in the side lanes, getting all those things, and you get a lot from the stats, just from being level 18. It's about 1,500 gold of stats that he's probably ahead of, say, Babetta, who's only level 13. It is another impacting thing that we gotta keep account of.
And his 4-1-4, Leandros is in there as well. Giant's belt as well. In terms of the AD carries, speaking of AD carries, Jimbo's. Oh, whoa, that was really close. That probably should have interrupted him there as well. Jimbo's right on top of him. And, well, you get away with things sometimes.
Yeah, that was a real close one. I mean, I'm really curious why Jimbo's popped his ultimate like that, because, like, if you're going to interrupt the recall, you're going to interrupt it with or without your ultimate. Yeah. And now it's down, so he doesn't have it for potential teamfight peel. This is a point for Fnatic to maybe go aggressive, and now they're flanking.
And ready to get it in there. You can see looking for that absolute zero, as we do see the Strangled Thorns coming in there. It will knock Peke up, but Samux coming in from the back. He will die down. There's Cataclysm. It's only on to Soaz, though, and he can get out of that one if he needs to. He gets stunned up by Kennen. It's a double kill here for Yellowstar. He's going to rip through Babetta as well. Oracle down. Triple kill coming out for Yellowstar.
Yeah, and by Yellowstar's positioning by the end of that fight, you realized what kind of fight it was. He was frontlining. Giants wasn't fighting back. They were trying to peel off, but Fnatic was just there entirely. And this is an inhibitor, but it could be a lot more. I wonder if they'll take multiple.
Yeah, and look at that. They've managed to hold Kennen back there, interrupted from his recall. And that means that Yellowstar is actually going to go hunting here. He's going to throw the Halo Barrows down. There we go. Jimbo's lightning rush his way away, but still, it's time that he's not back home.
Yeah, the only thing about this, though, is Fnatic is probably just going to end up recalling. They didn't have a creep wave pushed far enough up to really help them with the next inhibitor. It's way back there, and who else would go down there except Xpeke to clear it out with Katarina? I really, really liked that play from Fnatic. It's just that opportunistic play style, and look out Yellowstar.
Oh, wow, Yellowstar here. He's actually done, like, no damage there. I think if he'd have stood toe-to-toe with him and actually, you know, attacked him there, he could have I mean, look at his build. He's got that Bloodthirster. He's got the Phantom Dancer. He's got a second BF sword. He's got a Last Whisper in there. The
biggest thing that did that in for him is the exhaust, I think. Yeah. For some reason, he didn't want to attack during the exhaust, even though he probably should have. You're doing 35% reduced damage with 35% less attack speed during exhaust, so you're not getting much back, but he would have at least put up a better fight. The good thing is Yellowstar didn't bother using his ultimate, didn't bother using barrier, so it is kind of an exhaust for the gold and the death, and unless Giants can turn something around, like with this Baron play, it'll be okay for Fnatic, but as I say that, they might get this Baron.
Yeah, we got Soaz coming in. We are going to see the teleport as well from XPeke. This could be a moment of madness from Giants if they don't play this one right. The Oracle will get rid of the ward. There we see Soaz baited in at the top side. Where is the push going to come in? Samas, they're going to get slow. There is Absolute Zero coming in. Strangled Thorns will knock a lot of them up. Cataclysm coming down on top as well. First kill, though, is for Fnatic. Second kill for Fnatic. Morden going to fall here as well. He's trying to escape on the top side. Wither will say, no, you're not getting away from that, as Peke gets the reset on the ultimate. Extermin's dead, and that is 5 men down. An ace and a Baron for Fnatic.
Pow, 4v5. I thought when Exter started that fight and landed Stranglethorns on 3 people, it would be death for Fnatic, but XPeke was outside of that. He got off a full charge Katarina ultimate. No one got on Cyanide with his persistent threat from Nasus, and this is absolutely huge for them. Speaking of which, 15-second death timers. Is Yellowstar going to be able to end this? He might at least get the turrets.
He's going for these turrets. At least he's going to get one of them. To be honest, the damage he's putting out there is huge. He's probably going to get both of them here. 5 seconds, actually 3 seconds for Kennen is the next one. He's going to go in straight onto the Nexus. Double super minions coming in here as he actually turns around, puts the ultimate down, misses with that one, but the rest of Fnatic coming in on top of them here. XPeke putting the damage down. Jimbones will fall. Samex will just about get in there with the heal from Babetta, but the Nexus is down to nothing. The super minions will finish it, and Fnatic defeat Giants here, keep them rooted to the bottom. But on the likewise, on the other side, Fnatic, top of the league.
Staying up there, and I've seen this game before. Fight, fight, fight. Randomly, they get an ace and just push and end the game. That's the way Fnatic does. They keep the other team on their toes, and they did it again.
Well, that's it from us here at the Cast of This. We're going to go to the analysis for this one, and that will be this time around Jason Kaplan and Ocelot.
Thank you for that, Joe and Ja. And Ocelot, that was quite an exciting game, even though it started off a little bit slow. But let's start with the picks and bans, because I know we were talking about it and we were a little confused, but then we saw an amazing thing happen for Giants, or at least develop.
Yeah, I would say that the picks and bans were 100% for Giants. Like, they literally wanted this to happen, these picks and bans. I think Giants had an extremely good teamfight combo. They had a better 2v2 combo, but then we saw Fnatic swapping lanes. They had a better mid laner in terms of 1v1ing, and the only thing is the top laner, like Kha'Zix against Zed, which is kind of like a skill matchups. So they had what they wanted. They probably had what they wanted in terms of in-game as well, because the game was a little bit crazy at some point, and they loved that. At one point, they were only 1k behind. They could have easily won this game, but then, as always, Fnatic split push is too strong.
And you mentioned the lane swapping, and we were talking about that during the picks and bans. Can you kind of explain what was the benefit and what was the downside to the swaps we saw?
The swaps we saw from Fnatic, so they were Nunu and Varus against Ken and Zona, and Ken and Zona is supposed to beat Nunu Varus pretty easily, if you ask me. So that's why, even though Fnatic was blue side, they 100% wanted that swap. They didn't want to 2v2 them because they knew they would lose it pretty hard. So that lane swap was needed.
Okay, and unfortunately it didn't seem to work out too well for him as the game did progress, but we're actually going to talk about a replay, because you mentioned that Giants really wanted to go for the team fights, and it seemed to work out for them at first, but then it seemed just Fnatic kept catching them off guard. I'm going to set this replay for you, and I want you to walk us through it, because it was a very big play out of Fnatic's side. So it was right after the first 5-for-4 trade we saw for Giants, wherein Cyanide died to turret with Sona hitting him last second, and then they come in again for Dragon because they want to pick it up. So we're 25 minutes in, 10-8, and Giants only down about 1,500 gold at this point. So can you walk us through this replay?
There we go. So we are right now in the Drake pit, and Giants is a little bit compromised because they are being flanked from both sides.
Yeah, let's just show that real quick. As you see, you have Nunu Varus down here. You even have XPeke there as well, and then you have Zed and
Nasus.
And yeah, coming in from the side,
which is kind of beefy. So you cannot really one-shot anybody of him. So there we go. Here, a team fight starts, but not in the best way for Giants. They don't have the best positioning. They have to Zyra ultimate defensively. Zyra is already really low. Ken is already really low. So it's Samux with Kha'Zix. It's just a team fight that is perfect for Katarina. When these team fights happen this way, Katarina will be one of the best champions. Like, basically, you need to not get flanked like this. The mistake of Giants, I would say, was keep doing Drake when they were coming from both sides. They should have backed a little bit and maybe engage one of sides. Maybe even try to engage on Nasus. I don't know. But at least engage out of Drake Pit.
Do you think that was the right move, though, in general, out of Giants, where they just want to fight a dragon? I mean, they won it. They had one member surviving the last one. They were down ultimates. They were down a lot of summoners. Do you think it was the right move for them to come in there and try to contest it yet again?
I'm not quite sure, you know. I'm not quite sure. Like, to be honest, everything depends. I mean, against Katarina, everything depends on how the teamfight starts. Okay, so you need to know that you have to be the one that decides when the teamfight starts. If they decide when the teamfight starts, Katarina's going to snowball the teamfight so much. Katarina's going to wait a little bit when Nasus is in, when Zed is in, when they are going to eat most of the damage from Zara ultimate and stuff. Katarina's going to jump in, and it's going to be like everybody's going to die. Like, it's just kill, jump, kill, jump.
Yeah, we had two champions actually who were really recent dependent in there with Kha'Zix and with Katarina. And you mentioned Snowball, and FNC seemed to do that off of that fight. We have another fight happening at Baron where Giants did start it, and we have to say that it didn't seem like they were really confident in it. They were really like making split decisions. I think there's a lot of people making calls in there because they just didn't seem to be doing the same call. They didn't seem to be doing the same motion. So about 32 minutes in, 17-10, so FNC got a little bit of a snowball going on. And walk us through this Baron, and you know exactly what you would have done differently, because this could have been Giants' fight to win.
So we are right now in the Baron pit. Sorry, they are getting flanked once again. They know Katarina is actually TPing. She already TP'd, but they know as well that they have to do something because Katarina was going bottom lane with TP up. So they had to start Baron. They had to do something. Mid lane was pushing as well because they lack one inhibitor. So here we are. We're in the Baron pit, and what they should have done right now is stop Baron right away and try to engage somehow with Javan ultimate. I don't know, something crazy, but try to engage somehow on somebody. Doesn't matter who.
Yeah, I mean, because look at the ultimates we have up. Every single ultimate for Giants is currently available. I mean, they don't have summoners, but still, they could easily pick them off with how separated they are.
But there's one problem. Like, right now, Baron, for example, has hit Samux. So he has the AD reduced by half. So he's going to be pretty much useless if the teamfight starts now. So they should have made sure, first of all, modern tanks at the, like every single hit of Baron. And they should have made sure that they are not in this situation. This is the worst situation against Katarina. This is the worst situation against Fnatic. They had to ultimate. They will have to ultimate defensively with Zara instead of for killing.
And with the position Samix is in right now, because he's already down to less than half health, he's running straight into XPK at this point. I mean, how do you kind of reset this fight? I mean, I don't even think there's a possibility to do that. You just kind of lost it with how you set it up?
At this point, there is no comeback. At this point, the game is over. At this point. There's nothing they can do different. Look at Katarina, carrying a little bit of damage. Everybody is going to be extremely low from now on. Look at that. Kennen is 40% HP with the W of Nasus in him, so he does 0 damage. Kha'Zix still had the Baron buff thingy, so he does 0 damage. Exterminator was tanking Baron for a while. Then it's a whole mess. Like, this is exactly the teamfight Fnatic wants. Katarina gets 2 assists and then starts jumping everywhere, and she basically cleans the fight. Basically, that was the game. Like, when you are inside the Baron pit and they are flanking you, it's 100% lose.
Yeah, and you mentioned during Picks and Bans that Giants are a very good team, but they seem to be a little scared. Can you kind of go into that a little bit? I think we saw it there.
Yeah, I think the good point of Giants is that they are very good individually. All of them are in their individual skill-wise is pretty high. Okay, so they should actually use it to create more 1v1, 2v3, 1v2 situations. So they should move a lot. They should really not be scared about the opponent. If they are scared about the opponent, they just farm. They're going to eventually lose because they obviously don't have the experience these teams have. If it comes down to late game, I can promise you that Fnatic is gonna destroy them.
And that's because of the split pushing?
Yeah, exactly. This is team experience. At the end, everything is about team experience. And Giants should have taken advantage of those 2-3 minutes of madness that they took Drake and stuff. They should have just done more split push. They should have done more crazy stuff. They should have got Oracle right away, and they should have get wards. I mean, get all the opposite wards and go invade the jungle or something. Just make plays, you know. They need to make plays, because if they don't make plays, eventually they're going to lose the game.
Yeah, you mentioned to me that Fnatic, they're not a team to really care about Dragon. They'd rather go for the split push, rather secure some turrets. And there's one thing particularly you mentioned was that if the other team is out of position, they go straight for an objective, like straight for a turret.
So, as I said, I think, well, I told you, but it was off camera, so I will repeat it again, okay?
Yeah.
So there's different teams. There's Fnatic, who they don't care at all about losing Drakes, and about, I don't know, even team fighting. They want to get towers. if you do a Drake and they get a tower, it's worth it. If I don't know, if you are in a 4v5 situation in a team fight and you do a 2-for-1 exchange, but top lane is getting pushed and you actually get 1 tower and a half and some farm, is worth. For them, getting towers is worth. Then we got Gambit. Gambit, they don't care about towers, they don't care about those fast money. They care about Drakes, they care about freezing the lane, they care about getting farm and be extremely useful in the next team fights. And then we got the Koreans, which are using the fast game, which is they get all the towers they get all the money they can in the first 10 minutes of the game, so they can capitalize on that. But what's the problem? If they don't capitalize on that, they're gonna become more and more useless, because getting towers makes you fall behind in farm, because the creeps are pushing towards them, so you lose creeps. You have to be back. You know what I mean? So it's 3 different playstyles. All of them work. But I think right now, split pushing is a little bit too strong, you could say, because there's no way you can counter it. Like, I don't think there's a way you can counter it. You can just split push like them and hope for the best.
And which category does SK fit under in that sense, then?
I think we're just mad, man. I don't know. Everybody roams around. To be honest, I shouldn't say that because everybody's gonna know, but
that's fine. You don't have to.
I will say it, man. Whatever. So I think SK, we are playing with fast, which is getting a lot of money in short period of time, and roam a lot, so we get kills for the AD and the top lane. Okay, and at the end, when the team fight approaches, then we are stronger because we got more items than the opponent. That's how we normally play. But sometimes we have to adapt, and sometimes we have to freeze, sometimes we have to farm, sometimes we have to be a little bit more calm. So it really depends on the game.
Well, thank you also for your insight. I really appreciate it. And you will be back with us in a little bit more, also answering some Twitter questions. But for now, I believe we're going over to Shox with an interview with Fnatic.
Yes! I'm here with the jungle from Fnatic, Cyanide. And now Cyanide, game got off to a great start for you guys, but around mid-game, it was kind of going a little worse. So what happened there?
I think their mid-game combo was really strong, but we weren't really thinking about losing because they had Kennen AD and we had Nasus, and we knew he didn't go for Mercs or Cleanse, so I could just shut down him for 5 seconds every fight, so we weren't really confident still. Okay,
from the perspective of playing against Giants, you did before when they seemed to be a lot better. So what do you think happened to the team, or what is going on?
I think they just lacked some practice against the better teams. If they just practice more, I think they could make a comeback.
Okay, I was talking to Ocelot a bit during the game, and he said, you know what, no team likes playing against Fnatic because, they just do their backdoor strat and they just execute it perfectly and that's it.
Yeah, well, we kind of stole the tactic from Koreans. We got totally owned by them, and we're like, hey, why don't we do the same? And yeah, that's pretty much it.
What if Teleport gets taken out of the game?
I don't think that's going to happen.
Anyway, how are you enjoying the venue here?
It's really cool. It's really awesome. I love it.
Thank you very much, Cyanide. Yeah. Okay, the last game for today is coming up. It's going to be Dragonborn versus Gambit Gaming. We'll be right back after a short break.
Welcome back to the analysis desk, where we have Ocelot helping us out, giving us the insight, and he is here to answer a couple of these Twitter questions that you guys have been sending us in. So let's go and get right into that. And
I'm scared. I'm scared.
You're scared? Well, hopefully it's not any questions that I would ask you, but we do have one. We'll not go into that too much. But we'll go into it right away. We have at GR, I don't even know how to say that name, at GRVOUP Gaming, and he asks, or he or she asks, do you think Cassiopeia is still viable?
I think Cassiopeia is still viable, but she's extremely situational. You can pick Cassiopeia if, first of all, you know you're going to win the lane, so you can pick Cassiopeia against Kale, you can pick Cassiopeia against Diana, maybe? Yeah, Diana, you could win the lane, yeah. Kale, Diana, those kind of champions. And you have to make sure that in team fights, like nobody of them can literally jump on you and kill you, basically. So if Diana jumps on you, it's fine because you can kill her. But if Malphite jumps on you, you got a problem, you know? Because you cannot really insta-kill him. So everything comes down to winning the lane and making sure that, first of all, you teamfight a lot. You counter jungle a lot because you're able to push a lot with Cassiopeia. And once you teamfight, making sure that you are alone your AD so you can destroy the Emilis.
And what do you exactly level up with Cassiopeia? Because I've seen people level up sometimes Q, sometimes level up E, you know, Twin Fang for that quick burst damage. What do you prefer?
I think, okay, so once you master the champion, you actually know what to level up, okay? So sometimes with Orianna even, I do the same. I even sometimes level up E, okay, when the situation requires it.
Right.
So with Cassiopeia, if you want to push, if you want to out-push the opponent, but you really don't want to have these 1v1 fights, then you level up Q. If you're, for example, against, I don't know, a Zed, okay? You're against a Zed, you really don't want the 1v1 confrontation, but you want him to use the spells on the creeps, and you don't want him to jump on you, okay? So what you do is you level up Q to the max, and you make sure that the lane is always pushed,
right,
and you're pressuring him that way. But what happens if you're fighting against Orianna, okay? Against Orianna, you really want to shut her down early. So what you do is you level up E, so you do Q level 1, E level 2, E level 3, Q level 4, E level 5, not W. And you trust on your Q. So every time you hit the Q, you're going to have this movement speed bonus.
Right.
And you're going to just go mad on him. Boom, 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 boom. You know? And that's what you have to do. You have to, when you level up E, you need to have lane domination. And you're supposed to have lane domination against most of the champions. So that's double-edged sword playstyle, but it's the best playstyle. Why is double-edged sword playstyle? Because the E has not much range, so if you get ganked, even if you see the gank coming, you can actually die pretty easily. Imagine just Yavan or Nasus just coming towards you, you know? Even if you see them coming, if they ghost or if they flash on you or whatever, and after you once, you're dead. Literally, because you really have to overextend using your E. The range is really, really short.
Do you think one reason she isn't played much is because she's not very mobile and escaping ganks like Zed, who can just Living Shadow away, or any number of champions, to be honest?
I think she's very mobile, basically because she's able to push the lane and run. Like Morgana. I think Cassiopeia is kind of like Morgana, to be honest. Okay. I think Cassiopeia is very, very similar to Morgana. She could be a little bit more skillful champion, but I think she's like Morgana. So what you like to do after level 6 is like you push the lane as much as you can, and then you leave when 1 or 2 creeps are left, when 1 or 2 melee creeps are left, then you leave, and you're missing already. You go towards the place where, you go towards the side, that you know there are no wards, no open wards. So once you're missing, the opponent is like, okay, this guy is missing, watch out bottom lane. So you lose 2 creeps, but you're going to make sure that the bottom lane loses 3-4 creeps. And if they don't back, you're going to kill one of them at least. With Cassiopeia. So what you want to do with Cassiopeia is push. I mean, after level 6, once you have enough lane domination, you push the opponent, and when 1 or 2 creeps alive, you just go to that has no words and try to help your teammates. Okay.
And real quick before we go to the next game, we do have Dragonborn vs Gambit coming up. Who do you favor in this matchup?
Favorite? That's a tricky question. Like, obviously Gambit is stronger, okay? And even more now that Dragonborns have these lineup changes. So I would, if I could bet my money, I would bet my money on Gambit. But you never know. You never know. And I'm very clear. Like every time I try to be Nostradamus, I fail hard, very, very hard. So I better not say anything. To be honest, for me, for my team, it's better that Gambit loses. Okay, obviously it's just mathematics. But I like both teams, and all I want to see is a good game.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Asa, for taking some time and joining me and joining Chad on the analysis desk. But now we're going over to Shocks to introduce the next and final matchup of the day.
You guys, it's getting dangerous. Okay, we're gonna have our last matchup of the day, and I just gotta ask it one more time. Est-ce que vous allez bien? I hope you have some applause left, because it's gonna be our last matchup of the day. And in the blue corner, it's going to be the Dragonborns. All right, great stuff. I hope they gave us an amazing last game. Let's get over to our commentators.
Thanks a lot, Shocks. Jack is joining me here once again at the caster booth. We're going to kick off our final game here. This almost makes me sad to say that this is our final game. I could keep going all night.
Yeah, I'm sure you could. You don't look tired whatsoever, but honestly, I wonder if these teams are a little bit tired because Dragonborn's had a tough week. Gambit Gaming's had that back and forth thing. So for this game, it's still about Dragonborn's new roster, right? They have replaced Spontex and Maluno coming in. They now have Dexter and Yamato Cannon in those places. So they need to have early game stuff against Gambit Gaming. Otherwise, they're going to fall apart because with the new roster, they don't have the communication.
And I think that's part of the fear here from Dragonborn's side. Can they do what they did against Fnatic, which is give them a good run for their money, maybe pull off something to win the game in the end? On the other hand, though, Gambit, 1 win yesterday and 1 loss, which came to the hands of Fnatic, so can't really say too much bad about that.
Yeah, and especially after yesterday, it does look like a bit of a David versus Goliath matchup, right? Like, it's Diamond in the jungle against Dexter, who, before this weekend, a lot of people didn't know who that guy was, and now he's jungling against potentially the best jungler in the world, or at least one of the most respected junglers in Europe, so this is a really big game for Gambit. They need to keep pace with Fnatic because they want to be #1, but, I mean, this would almost be a dream matchup for Gambit.
Yeah, let's have a look through the lineups then for both teams. Of course, Dragonborns with their subs in here for this one. Yamato Cannon, Dexter, Shushay, Hosan, and Mumet.
And for Gambit, we have Darian, Diamond Prox, Alex Each, Genja, and Edward.
So let's have a look through the key players, and as Jack rightly said, we've got we've got one world-class jungler here. We've got a jungler, on the other hand, for Dragonborns in the form of Dexter, who has to prove his worth here today.
Yeah, and this is a pretty tall task for Dexter. He's going up against Diamond Prox, but if you were to out-jungle someone, if you were able to keep pressure, if you were able to out-mind game Diamond Prox, you'd be in pretty high company.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard one, that's for sure. He is an aggressive jungler who has no problems with stealing all your stuff if he can get his hands on it. And of course, for Gambit, our key player is also going to be Diamond, surprisingly enough. He's the one that's now been such an innovator. I feel like we harp on about that a lot, but it's not to be underestimated.
It's definitely worth noting because Nasus, Volibear, even back with Shyvana, he gets it done with those champions. His positioning, his tactical play in the team fights is just crazy. Something happened. Sure it was.
Someone got past security, I think. Who are now hunting him down in the stadium here behind us. So before we get into Champion Select then, let's take a little bit of a look at what Gambit and Dragonborns had to say about each other coming into today's match. Oh no, we don't have a video.
We have a video of Champ Select.
Apparently we don't have a video, which is great, you know. I'm just, there's someone in my ear that's telling me lies, Jack. I don't appreciate
I think you're just making
to.
things up, Joe, actually. I think it's your fault.
No, it's not. It really isn't. It really isn't. He told me. Either way, let's forget about it. Let's start again.
Yeah.
Champion Select. That's what's coming up next here between Gambit and Dragonborns. We'll get straight into the nitty-gritty. We don't need no videos for this one. And Dragonborns, of course, they have first ban, first pick. What can we expect from these two teams in the ban pick phase? Right,
what teams have been doing to Gambit recently is they're trying to ban out Darian. So when Fnatic played them, not Fnatic, when their last game of yesterday, which is against SK Gaming.
SK, yeah.
SK Gaming banned out Renekton, Shen, and also Kha'Zix. No, was it? I know there were 3 bans. I should have had these on the top of my head, but they put all 3 bans towards Darian.
It wasn't Kha'Zix because we saw Kha'Zix.
Because Alex played Kha'Zix, and then he actually had to play Elise, which is like 5 deep for his champion pool. And now the first ban is Shen, so it does seem like what Darien has, like if you can shut down Darien, oftentimes that's the key to beating Gambit Gaming, so I see why they go for those bans.
Yeah, and we've seen how strong Darien can be on Shen as well. Real menace to anyone who is up against Draven the ban.